till now we have learned that fractions are parts of whole, and the fractions can be represented by something like n upon d, where n and d are two numbers, and this n is called the numerator and d is called the denominator, and d is not equal to 0. Now let us now try to compare fractions. Compare means if you are given 2, 3, 4 fractions and you need to find out which one is greater, which one is lesser, and also you may have to find out if they are equal. So there are questions where you need to compare fractions and you are told to find out which one is greater or lesser, or you may need to arrange them in ascending or descending order. Now suppose for example you are given two fractions, say 3 upon 8 and 5 upon 8. Now you are asked to compare these two fractions. So now comparing, first before letting you know how to compare these, let me tell you how to visualize this by drawing pictures which will make you understand which one is greater. So here I have made two pictures, namely two rectangles of same length. This is rectangle A and this one is rectangle B. And as because you see, denominator represents the number of parts and the number of parts are 8. So this whole rectangle, both of these rectangles are divided into 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Similarly, this rectangle B is also divided into 8 equal parts. Now this, you have got 3 parts having grasses over them. So these parts 3 upon 8 is represented by rectangle A, and 5 parts out of 8 parts are having grasses in rectangle B. So here this rectangle, this portion represents 5 upon 8. So you can see from the figure that this particular portion 5 upon 8 is represented by this particular portion, and 3 upon 8 is represented by this much portion. So just by viewing this or seeing this, you can see that, you can visualize that 5 upon 8, this portion is greater than this portion which is representing 3 by 8. So you can easily say that 5 upon 8 is greater than 3 upon 8. So this is the thing we can. Next, let us take one more example. Yes, this time I shall be representing fractions by circle. This is one circle, this is another circle. Both the circles are divided into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number of total parts comes in the denominator, and the number of parts having butterfly for circle A is 2, and number of parts having butterfly for circle B is 1, 2, 3. So which one is greater? Tell me. Fraction B is greater than fraction A, right friends? So this is how you can draw some pictures and tell which one is greater. But in real exam, you will not have the time to draw such pictures, and so there are methods by which you can find out. So both these examples you can see 3 upon 8 and 5 upon 8. So let me write those down. We have taken two examples. First example is 3 upon 8 and 5 upon 8. This was our first example, and our second example where we have compared using circle, 2 upon 5 and 3. So you can see over here that in all the examples the denominator of the compared fractions are same. So you see here we are comparing 3 upon 8 and 5 upon 8. For such cases you just need to, in the first case we have got 8 as the denominator for both the fractions. In the second case we have got 5 as the denominator or the bottom number for both the compared fractions, and you have noticed that 5 upon 8 is greater than 3 upon 8, and here 3 upon 5 is greater than 2.5. So now you must have pointed out the difference is that if denominator are same, compare numerators. So here you can easily say without drawing the pictures, as because 5 is greater than 3, we can say 3 upon 8 is also greater than 5 upon 8. Similarly, for this particular example, as because 3 is greater than 2, there can be any number in the denominator, but they should be same. Then we can easily say that 2 upon something something is less than 3 upon something something, where something something equal numbers. I hope you got the point. So this thing should be born in your mind. This should be memorized, or this should be known to you very well before proceeding further. Next, let us take somewhat trickier example. If I ask you, I hope you understood the earlier part. If you have not, please rewind the video and understand the earlier part before proceeding further. Now here at this point, if I ask you one question, that if you are asked to compare 1 upon 2 and 2 upon 4, 1 by 2 and 2 by 4. So if you are asked which one is greater, you see over here, numerators are different, denominators are different. So before comparing them mathematically, let us try to draw pictures to represent them. Here I have drawn two rectangles. This is A. This rectangle represents fraction A, and suppose this is fraction B. This figure represents fraction B. Let me tell you how. Here you see, first of all, please see that we have got two big rectangles of same size. These two big rectangles are of same size. Then for fraction A, you see that 2 is in the bottom part of the fraction, or 2 is in the denominator. So we have divided the rectangle into two parts, because denominator represents the number of parts. Denominator represents number of parts. So I have divided the big rectangle into two parts, and out of those two parts, I have shaded the part represented by the numerator. So I have shaded this particular part. So this particular part represent 1 by 2. Next, you can check next fraction B. Here we have got 4 in the denominator. So the bigger rectangle is divided into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the numerator represents the number of parts under consideration. So we have shaded two parts, this and this part. So now these two parts represents 2 divided by the total number of parts, that is 2 by 4. Now let us compare which one is bigger. So to our astonishment, we can see that this portion 1 by 2 is exactly equal to the portion represented by 2 upon 4. So you can see that 1 by 2 is equal to the portion represented by 2 by 4. And this may seem magical to you. How can two fractions having denominators and numerators different be equal? So you have seen that this can happen by drawing some pictures. So such type of fractions which are equal in spite of different numerators and denominators are called, please remember this thing, please memorize this thing, that these type of fractions are called equivalent fraction. These type of fractions are called equivalent fractions. Okay, now that you have seen how to get this point by drawing pictures, now let us see how we can solve such questions without drawing pictures. So 1 by 2, and we are given 2 upon 4. So first of all, you have to break the numerator and the denominator into its factors. Factors means of what are the least numbers which can be multiplied to get the numerator and the denominator. So let us check out 1 by 2. 1 is the least number we can have, and here 2 is also the least number. But for the second fraction, this is fraction A, this is fraction B. So 2 can be written as 2 into 1, and 4 can be written as 2 into 2 multiplied by 2. So next thing you have to do is to cancel out the common factors. Cancel common factors. So what are the common factors? 2. 2 ones are 2. 2 ones are 2. 1 ones are 1. 2 ones are 2. So we can see mathematically also that 2 upon 4 is equal to 1 upon 2, and hence we can derive that 1 upon 2 is equal to 2 upon 4, which is basically equal to 1 upon 2. So this is how you can check which if two fractions are equivalent or not. We will see more of such equivalent examples in my next video. Now if I ask you this portion is complete. If you have not understood, please rewind the video and watch again. Please come over here. If you are asked now to compare two fractions, 3 upon 4 and 4 upon 6. How will you compare these two fractions? Which one is greater? If you are asked which one is greater, 3 upon 4 or 4 upon 6. This may seem very confusing to you people, because you see over here 4 is greater than 3, 6 is greater than 4. So many kids may make this 4 upon 6 to be greater than 3 upon 4. So don't be in a rush. Please try to understand the basic before doing such questions. These questions are not very hard. You just need to practice. So let us get back to our problem. 3 upon 4 and 4 upon 6. To make things easier, I have again drawn the pictorial representation of these two fractions. Suppose 3 upon 4 is fraction P and 4 upon 6 is fraction Q. So the first of all, I have taken again two rectangles of same size. This is representing P and this one is representing Q, and after drawing rectangles of same size, for the P rectangle denominator is 4, that means this 4 represents the total number of parts, and therefore the rectangle P is divided into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the upper part numerator represents the number of parts under consideration. So we have got 3 number of small rectangles or 3 number of parts having stars inside them. So this part represents 3 by 4, and for the rectangle Q, denominator has got 6. Therefore 6 represents the total number of parts. Therefore the rectangle is divided into 6 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4 parts are having stars. So this portion represents 4 parts out of 6 parts. Next, if you need to compare, you can do that visually. You can see that this portion 3 upon 4, to our amazement, 3 upon 4, 3 by 4 is greater than 4 upon 6. 3 upon 4 is greater than 4 upon 6. So we can write down 3 by 4 is greater than 4 by 6. So we have deduced by drawing picture that 3 by 4 is greater than 4 by 6. Now you might be wondering that how can we make out which one is greater mathematically. So this video has become quite longer. We will discuss how to do such type of comparison mathematically in my next video. So keep watching. If you have not understood this video, please rewind and watch it again. Thank you.